बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम। कैसे हैं आप? दिस इज़ लेक्चर नंबर 19. Let's start. So first we take a review of previous lecture. In last lecture we discussed the definition of probability and its properties, and then we discussed some basic questions which are related to probability, and then we discussed some laws of probability and the related questions. So the objectives of current lectures are that first we will discuss some examples related to probability, and then we will discuss one very important concept, which is the concept of conditional probability, and then we will discuss the independent and dependent events, and then we will also discuss their related examples. So let's start. So we start with an example. So if a card is drawn from an ordinary deck of 52 playing cards, what is the probability that the card is a club or it is a face card? Note that we have discussed in our previous lecture the laws of probability. So if A and B are any two events defined in a sample space S, then probability of A or B, this is probability of A union B. So this is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So here the question is that what is the probability that the selected card is a club or it is a face card? So whenever we have or in between the two statements or two events, then it means we are interested in calculating, we need to use this A union B or A or B. So or mean same. But if in a certain questions we have here instead of or we have A and B, so in that case it means we are interested in probability of A intersection B. So OR stands for union and AND stands for intersection. So this is one very important clarification, and this should be noted. Okay, coming back to this example again, if card is drawn from an ordinary deck of 52 playing cards, so what is the probability that card is a club or it is a face card? So since total playing cards are 52, so it means we will say that NS is 52. Total number of sample points are 52. So now we want to find the probability that card is a club or it is a face card. So let us define an event A which represents that the card is a club, and define an event B that card is a face card. So now we have two events. First, the card is club. Second, it is a face card. And we want to find the card is club or it is a face card. So it means we are interested in calculating A or B, or it is equal to A union B, because or mean union. So by law of addition we know that probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So it means in order to calculate this A union B, we need to calculate all these three probabilities. So let us calculate them one by one. So look at here, A is a card A is a club. So it means the total number of sample points in A, since there are total 52 cards and there are 4 suits, and out of 4 suits, one suit is of club containing 13 cards. So A is an event that card is club, so it means number of sample points in A, they are 13, and probability of A, it will be 13 divided by total 52. And similarly B is a face card, so total number of sample points in B are 12. So face card, they are Jack, Queen and King. So 3 face cards in one suit. So since there are 4 suits, so 3 into 4, 12. So there are total 12 face cards. So probability of B will be 12 divided by 52. So it means we have calculated this probability of A as well as probability of B. So now we need to calculate probability of A intersection B. So intersection mean those cards which are in A as well as in B. So A is that card is club, B is card is face. So since there are 12 face cards, 3 cards in each suit, diamond, hearts, spade and club. So it means there are 3 cards which are common. They are face card as well as they belong to the club. So it means A intersection B will be 3. So probability of A intersection B is 3 out of 52. So once we have all these probabilities in hand, we can use this formula. Probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So 13 by 52, which is the value of A, then 12 by 52, which is value of B, then minus 3 over 52. So you can see that 52 is the LCM. So 13 plus 12, 25, minus 3, 22. So 22 over 52 is the required answer. So this is how we can use this law of addition to solve the probability question. So let us consider another example. An integer is chosen at random from the first 10 positive integers. So what is the probability that the integer chosen is divisible by 2 or it is divisible by 3? So since there are total of 10 integers in this case, so total number of sample points are 10. So define an event A that integer is divisible by 2. So since here we have 10 integers, so first 10 integers, so our sample space will contain all these 10 integers. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So total number of sample points, they are 10. So A is the event that integer is divisible by 2. So here 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So these are the outcomes of event A. So number of sample points in A, they are 5. So probability of A is 5 out of 10. And similarly define an event B that integer is divisible by 3. So in this case 3, 6, 9. So these are the 3 outcomes of this event B. So total number of sample points in B are 3. Probability of B is 3 out of 10. As far as our question is concerned, we need to calculate the probability that integer chosen is divisible by 2 or divisible by 3. So it means we are interested in probability of A or B. And we know that A or B mean A union B. So by law of addition, A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus P of A intersection B. So we have PA, PB here. So it means we need to calculate this P of A intersection B. So A intersection B mean those points which are common in A and B. So here just compare this with this second outcome. So you can see that 6 is occurring in both the events. So it means A intersection B is 6. So number of sample points in A intersection B, it is only 1, which is 6. So probability of A intersection B is NA intersection B over NS. So it means 1 out of 10. So once you have all these probabilities, just use this formula. A union B is 5 by 10, 3 by 10, minus 1 by 10, or 10 is the LCM. So 5 plus 3, 8 minus 1, you get 7 by 10, which is 0.7 or 70%. So it means there is 70% chances or 70% probability that the chosen integer is either divisible by 2 or it is divisible by 3. So let us consider another example. A pair of dice are thrown. A pair of dice is thrown. What is the probability of getting a total of either 5 or 11? So we know that when a pair of dice is thrown, the total number of sample points, they are 36, which is 6 into 2, so which is 6 cross 6, 36. So 6 raised to power 2, which is 6 cross 6, and it is equal to 36. And here is the total sample space. So 1 1 1 occurs on both dice, 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6, then 2 1 2 2, then 3 1, and last one is 6 occurs on both the dice. So question is, what is the probability of getting a total of either 5 or 11? So let us define an event A that a total of 5 occurs. So a total of 5 mean, from this case, just pick those order pairs where total of 5 occurs. So from this you can see that these are the order pairs where the total of the digits, total of the numbers on both dice is 5. So 1 plus 4 5, 2 plus 3 5, 3 plus 2, and 4 plus 1 4 and 1. So we get 1 4 2 3 3 2 and 4 1. So number of sample points in A 4, probability of A is 4 out of 36. And then define the event B that a total of 11 occurs. So again here total of 11 mean we have 6 5 and 5 6. So 5 6 and 6 5. So NB is 2. So probability of B is 2 out of 36. So note that there is nothing common in A and B. So there is nothing common in these two events. So it means A and B in this case, they are mutually exclusive. So mutually exclusive mean their intersection is an empty set. So probability of A or B is same as probability of A union B. So this is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. So probability of A is 4 out of 36 and B is 2 out of 36. So 4 by 36 plus 2 by 36. 36 is LCM. 4 plus 2, it is 6 over 36, which is 1 by 6. So let us consider another example of probability. So 3 horses A, B and C are in a race. A is twice as likely to win as B, and B is also twice as likely to win as C. What is the probability that either A or B wins? So here in this case we can see that if we know the probability of winning the horse C, then we can double it to get the probability of B. Once we have the probability of B in hand, we can double it to get the probability of A. So let us assume that probability of C is small p. So then probability of B is, it is twice the probability of C, so it is 2 times PC, or 2 times the probability of C is taken to be P, so it is 2 times P. And then A is twice as likely to win as B, so probability of A will be 2 times probability of B, so it is 2 times, and then P of B is 2P, so 2 into 2P, which is 4 times P. So since the events A, B, C, they are mutually exclusive and they are also collectively exhaustive. So mutually exclusive mean there is nothing common, and collectively exhaustive mean that if we take their union, so it becomes the full sample space. So it means the probability, if we take probability on both sides, here A union B union C, and here it is probability of S and since they are mutually exclusive, so it means nothing is common between the three. So A union B union C, this will be probability of A plus B plus probability of C, and probability of S, it is 1. So we will use this condition, the collectively exhaustive events as well as the mutually exclusive events. So using these two results, we can get that the sum of probabilities of these three events is equal to 1. So probability of A plus B plus C, it is 1. Probability of A is it is 4p, probability of B is 2p, and probability of C is p. So their sum is p plus 2p plus 4p, which is 7p equals 1, or p is 1 by 7. So once p is 1 by 7, so probability of C is p, which is 1 by 7. Probability of B is 2 times p, which is 2 times 1 by 7, or it is 2 over 7. And probability of P is 4p, or 4 over 7. So now question is, what is the probability that either A or B wins? So A or B wins. So it means probability of A union B. So since they are mutually exclusive, so this is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. So probability of A is 4 by 7 and P of B is 2 over 7. So 4 by 7 plus 2 over 7, so it is 6 over 7. So now we discuss the concept of conditional probability. The sample space for an experiment must often be changed when we have some additional information related to the outcome of the experiment. So the effect of such additional information is to reduce the sample space by excluding some of the outcomes as being impossible, which before receiving the extra information they were believed possible. So the probabilities associated with such a reduced sample space, they are called conditional probabilities. So since we have now additional information, so it means the probability in this case, which is called conditional probability, it will be somewhat higher. So our guess will improve if we have some additional information. So let us explain the idea of conditional probability with the help of one simple example. So let us consider the die throwing experiment. So here the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So suppose we wish to know the probability of the outcome that the die shows a 6. Say this is our event A. So probability of A is 6 occurs one time out of these 6. So 1 over 6, so it is 0.166, or it is 16.6%. So probability of getting a 6 when a die is thrown is 16.6%. So if before seeing this outcome we are told that the die shows an even number of dots, say the event B, so it means now we have some additional information that we rolled a die, and when die is rolled, it is known to us that it has been told to us that the die shows an even number of dots. So it means we have now additional information, so we can discard this number 1, this number 3 and number 5 from our sample space. So our reduced sample space will be 2, 4 and 6. Why? Because we have now additional information that when the die is rolled, it shows an even number. So it means it shows either 2, 4 and 6. Now question is, find the probability of getting a 6. So now since we have this additional information in hand, so that's why our sample space is reduced. So in this case the probability of 6 is you can see that 6 is occurring once, and the total number of sample points now in this case they are 3. So probability of 6 is 1 out of 3, which is 0.333, or it is 33.3%. So now you can see that previously the probability of getting a 6, it was 16.6%, but since we have the additional information that when a die is rolled we get an even number, so it means our sample space is reduced by discarding the number 1, 3 and 5. So this reduced sample space is created with the help of additional information. So due to this additional information, our guess or our probability about this number 6, it got increased from 16.6% to 33.3%. So it means whenever we have certain additional information, our guess it improves. So we call 1 by 3 or 0.333 as the conditional probability of event A, because it is computed under the condition that the die has shown an even number. So symbolically we can write it as probability die shows a 6, conditional on, this slash is used for the condition. So die shows 6 such that, or it is also called given that. So symbolically probability of die shows 6 given that die shows an even number. So we can write it as A given B. So this slash is used to represent given. So provided we know about B, so what is the probability of A? So probability of A given B, it is 1 by 3 or 0.333. So we can also write it in detail. So probability of A given B, so it is what? Here just look at the Venn diagram. So we have two events, event A and B, which are defined in the sample space S. So it means we are interested in finding the probability of this event A given that event B has occurred. So once we know the information that B has occurred, so it means, so previously we were focusing only on this full event, this full probability of A, but since now we have additional information that this event B has occurred, so it means now our focus area is only this intersection part. So probability of A given B, it is number of sample points which are common to both A and B divided by total number of sample points in B. So this divided by total number of sample points in B. Or we can divide the numerator and denominator both by NS. So numerator is divided by NS, denominator is also divided by NS. This is a certain mathematical trick. So you know that when NA intersection B, our NS, this is called probability of A intersection B, and similarly the denominator NB divided by NS, this is the probability of B. And here we have one condition that this denominator or probability of B, this should be non-zero number, because if this denominator is 0, so anything divided by 0 we get an infinite number, or this leads to an infinity, or we say that probability of A given B does not exist. So this condition is usually imposed that the denominator should be a non-zero number, or it should not be equal to 0. So this is the general formula for calculating the conditional probabilities. So main idea of conditioning is that whenever we have certain additional information, just use that information in order to calculate the probabilities. So it means we are reducing our sample space. So previously in this Venn diagram the sample space was full event A, but when we have the additional information, so then this sample space is reduced to the only area which is both common to A and B. So this is how conditional probabilities are calculated. So now the simplified formula is probability of A given B is probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. So let us consider some examples which are related to this conditional probability topic. So two coins are tossed. What is the probability that two heads result given that there is at least one head? So when two coins are tossed, we know that sample space is head, 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 tail, tail, head, tail, tail. So total number of sample points are 4. So let us define an event A that two heads appear and event B as at least one head. So event A will have outcome two head mean only HH, at least one head mean one or more heads. So one head and two heads. So we want to find probability that two heads result given that at least one head. It means A given B. So probability of A given B is our required task. So we know that probability of A given B is probability of A intersection B, our probability of B. So from this case, probability of A is 1 out of 4, probability of B is 3 out of 4, and calculate their intersection. So from their intersection you can see that this one event is common to both A and B. So it means probability of A intersection B is 1 out of 4. So we can put these results in this formula. So probability of A given B is, it is 1 by 4 divided by 3 by 4. So this 4 is cancelled with this 4. So we get 1 by 3, which is 0.33 or 33%. So let us discuss another example. So three coins are tossed. What is the probability that two tails result given that there is at least one head? So when three coins are tossed, we have this sample space. So total number of sample points, they are 8. So define the two events. Event A, two tails appear, and event B, there is at least one head. So we have two events A and B. So two tails appear mean just pick from this sample space those outcomes where we have two tails. So two tails and these two tails. So just write these three outcomes here. And similarly in event B, at least one head mean either one head or more than one heads. So pick the relevant outcomes from the sample space. So here we have 3 heads, 2 heads, 2 heads, 2 heads, 1 head, 1 head, 1. So 1 or more heads. So just leave this last option. So we want to find A given B. So probability of A given B is our required task. So according to conditional probability formula, probability of A given B is probability of A intersection B, our probability of B. So in this case, probability of A is, there are 3 numbers, so 3 out of 8. Probability of B is 7 out of 8. So A intersection B mean the common points to A and B. So you can see that this point HTT, this is occurring here, then THT, and then TTH. So all 3 numbers are common. So probability of A intersection B is 3 out of 8. So once we have these numbers, we can use this result. So probability of A given B is, so in order to calculate A given B, so it is 3 over 8 divided by 7 over 8, or 3 7 the 21, 8 8 64. So 21 over 64. So let us consider another example. A pair of dice is thrown. What is the probability that sum of 2 dice will be 4 given that the 2 dice has the same outcome? So we know that when the pair of dice is thrown, here is the sample space containing 36 points. So NS is 36. So let us define the 2 events. Event A, that sum is 4, and event B, that same outcome appears on both dice. So event A is that sum is 4. So in case of sum is 4, we need to pick those outcomes from sample space whose sum is 4. So 1 plus 3 4, 2 plus 2 4, 3 plus 1 4. And B is the event showing same outcome on both dice. So same outcome mean 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, 5 5, 6 6. So same outcome on both dice. So we want to calculate A given probability of A given B. So it is P of A given B is P of A intersection B over P of B. So first calculate their intersection. So A intersection B, the number of common points. So you can see that this 2 2 is common in both events. So there is only one point in A intersection B. So P of A intersection B is 1 out of 36, and P of B is number of sample points in B 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 6 out of 36. So just divide these two numbers, 1 by 6 divided by 6 by 36. You can see that this 36 is cancelled with 36. We get 1 over 6. Let us consider another question. A pair of dice is thrown. What is the probability that sum of two dice will be 7 given that the sum is greater than 6? So again we have the sample space, same sample space, total number of sample points 36. So define the two events, event A that sum is 7 and event B that sum is greater than 6. So I have highlighted here. So sum is 7 mean 6 plus 1 7, 5 2 7, 4 and 3 7, 3 4 7, 2 5 7, 1 6 7. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So sum is 7 mean we get 6 numbers. So it means if we calculate probability of A, it is 6 out of 36. And the event B is sum is greater than 6. So from this sample space you can see that these are the events. So 6 plus 1 7. So it means sum of these two numbers is greater than 6. 5 2 7, 4 3 7, 3 4, 2 5 7, 1 6 7, 2 6 8, which is greater than 6. Similarly 3 5 8, 3 6 9. So these are the points whose sum is greater than 6. So just count them. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21. So it means here we have probability of B. So 21 out of 36. So we are interested in calculating P of A given B. So which is P of A intersection B divided by P of B. So now first we calculate P of A intersection B. From this diagram you can see that these are the numbers, 6 numbers, they are common to both A and B. So P of A intersection B is 6 out of 36, or it is 1 by 6. And P of B is 21 by 36. Here 21 by 36 are, if we cancel it with 3 3 7 21 or 3 12 36. So 7 over 12. So P of A given B is 1 by 6 divided by 7 by 12. So it is 7 into 1 7, 6 into 12 72. So 7 over 72. So let us discuss the multiplication rule. So if A and B are any two events defined in sample space S, then probability of A and B, this is equal to P of A intersection B, and it is equal to probability of A given B into probability of B. So provided that probability of B is not 0. So actually we have derived this result from this case, that we know that probability of A given B is, it is P of A intersection B whole over P of B. So if you shift this thing to left hand side, so this becomes P of A given B, this times P of B, and on right hand side we are left with P A intersection B. Or you can write it in opposite way, just writing A intersection B, P of A intersection B on left hand side, and P of A given B times P of B. And similarly we can also write the probability of A intersection B as it is equal to P of A intersection B equals P of B given A times P of A. Note that if we have P of B given A, then according to this conditional probability formula, so we have B intersection A over P of A. Note that B intersection A is same as A intersection B. So if we shift it to left hand side, so it will become P of A times P of B given A times P of A, and on right hand side we are left with P of B intersection A. So B intersection A, in next step you can write it as A intersection B as well, because of commutative law that A intersection P of A intersection B is same as P of B intersection A. And here on the left hand side we have B intersection A into P of A. So A intersection B can be calculated either using this formula, A given P of A given B times P of B, or using this alternative formula, which is P of B given A times P of A. So this is the general rule for multiplication, that probability of A and B both occurs. So now we discuss one simple definition, which is related to independent events. So two events A and B defined in a sample space S, they are said to be independent if the probability that one event occurs is not affected by whether the other event has or has not occurred. So occurrence of event A has no impact, no effect on the occurrence or non-occurrence of event B. Or similarly, if the occurrence of event B, it has no effect on the occurrence or non-occurrence of event A. So then we say that event A and event B, they are independent. So event A has nothing to do with event B has nothing to do with event A. So in this case we can see that P of A given B, it will be P of A, because if we have, whether we have the additional information about B or not, it will make no impact on P of A. So P of A given B, so whether information about B is given or it is not given, so it will make no impact. So P of A given B is P of A, and similarly P of B given A is P of B. So it means in this law, just replace A given B by P of A. So in case of independent events, we can simplify this first law as P of A and B is probability of A intersection B. So this term A given B, it is replaced with P of A, whereas keeping P of B as it is. So it means the simplified formula is A intersection B is P of A times P of B. So this result is valid only when the two events, they are independent. And similarly, in case of three events A, B and C, if they are independent, so then probability of A and B and C, this will be A intersection B and intersection C, this will be probability of A times probability of B times probability of C. So this result is valid only in case of independent events. And two events A and B defined in sample space S, they are said to be dependent if the probability of one event has certain impact on occurrence or non-occurrence of the other event. So in this case, this P of A intersection B, this will not be equal to P of A times P of B. So this formula is it can be used for as a checkpoint, whether whether events are dependent or they are independent. So if P of A intersection B, it is equal to the product of the individual probabilities P of A times P of B, so then we will say that events are independent, and if they are not equal, so it means they are dependent events. So now let us discuss the examples which are related to this issue. So a box contains 15 items, 4 of which are defective and 11 are good. So out of 15, 4 are the defective items, the remaining items which are 11 in number, they are the good items. So 2 items are selected out of 15. What is the probability that first is good and the second is defective? So let us define the two events. Event A, first item is good, and event B, second item is defective. So we want to find the probability that first is good and second is defective. So first is good and second is defective. So and mean intersection. So A intersection B. So A and B mean A intersection B. So we know that by rule of multiplication that A intersection B is P of B given A times P of A. So P of A is good, first item is good. So there are 11 items which are good out of 15. So it means number of sample points in A, they are 11, total number of sample points, they are 15. So P of A is 11 out of 15. And now question is, second one is defective. So probability of second is defective given that first one is good. So it means B given A. So now since there are total of 15 items, so one item has already been drawn, so it means, so we are left with 14 items, so 15 minus 1, so it means our sample space is now reduced, so from 15 to 14, because one item has already been drawn. So now the second is defective, so there are total 4 defective items, so these 4 will be selected out of 14, so 4 out of 14. So second is defective given that first is good, so it is B given A, 4 out of 14. So probability of A intersection B, it will be P of B given A times this is multiplication P of A. So just multiply these two numbers, so 4 over 14 times 11 over 15. So it is 4 into 11, 44, and divided by 14 into 15, so which is 210. So if you simplify it, you get 0.16, which is equal to 16%. So 16% is the required probability, or it is the probability that first item will be good and the second one will be defective. So let us consider an example. 2 cards are drawn from a well shuffled ordinary deck of 52 cards. Find the probability that they are both aces if the first card is replaced, and second situation is that if the first card is not replaced. So let us discuss the solution. define an event A that first card is an ace card, and define an event B that second card is also an ace card. So we want to find the probability that both are aces. So P that probability that both are aces, so it means ace, first card is an ace and second one is also an ace. So it means we want to find probability of A and B. So and mean intersection, so A intersection B. So let us consider the first situation. So first situation is that before drawing the second card, the first card is replaced. So in case of replacement, both events A and B, they are independent. So occurrence of one event will have no impact or no effect on the occurrence or non-occurrence of the other event. So it means if they are independent, so probability of A intersection B, it is probability of A times probability of B. We have considered events A and B as independent because first card is an ace card, its probability is 4 out of 52, and since it is replaced, so now we have again a complete deck of 52 cards. So it means now if the second card is also an ace, so its probability is also 4 out of 52. Why? Because there are total of 4 aces. So once the first card is drawn, so it can be an ace card out of any of the 4 suits. So ace of diamond, ace of heart, ace of club, or ace of spade. So probability of getting an ace is 4 out of 52. But since this card is replaced back, so it means we have the same sample points, 52. So if the second card is drawn again from these sample points, so its probability will it will not be affected by the first drawn card. So that's why the occurrence of first ace has no impact on the occurrence of second ace. But if we do not replace the first card, so then it means our sample space will be reduced to 51 instead of 52. So it means if card is not replaced, so then the probabilities will there will be some problem and it will affect the second probability or probability of second card. So but since we are considering the case when the card is replaced, so we can say that both events they are independent. So A intersection B, it is the product of individual probabilities, probability of A times probability of B. So since there are 4 aces, so 4 out of 52, which is probability of A, and similarly we have 4 aces, which is the probability of B, so it is 4 out of 52. So if you simplify it, so 4 out of 52, it is 1 over 13 times 1 over 13, we get 1 over 169. So next, consider the second situation, that the first card is not replaced before drawing the second card. So in this case, since the card is not replaced, so then the events will be dependent. So in order to calculate the probability that both are aces, so we will write it as that probability ace on first card and ace on second, given that first card is an ace card. So it means probability of A intersection B, both are aces, so this is actually probability of A that first is an ace card, which is 4 over 52. But second is B given A. So B given A mean now we know that first card is an ace, which has not been replaced. So now our sample says sample space reduces to 51 instead of 52. So B given A, so probability of second card is also an ace card, given that first is also an ace. So now the total number of ace cards are 3, because out of 4 aces, 1 ace has already been taken out. So 3 divided by 51, which is our reduced sample space. So just multiply these two numbers. So 4 out of 52 is 1/13 and 3 out of 51 is 1/17. So 13 multiply with 17, we get 221, and 1 into 1 is 1. So 1/221. So in this case the result is 1/221. So let us consider another example. A jar contains 3 red, 5 green, 2 blue and 6 yellow marbles. A marble is chosen at random from the jar. After replacing it, a second marble is chosen. What is the probability of choosing a green and then a yellow marble? So total marbles in this case are 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 6. So we have a total of 16 marbles, and we want to find the probability of choosing a green marble and then a yellow marble. So let us define the two events. Event A is that the chosen marble is a green marble, and event B is that the chosen marble is a yellow marble. So now there are 5 green marbles, so probability of A is 5 out of 16, and there are 6 yellow marbles, so probability of B is 6 out of 16. So coming to our main question, that find the probability of choosing green and then yellow marble. So a green one and then a yellow one. So since these marbles are independent, so green marble has nothing to do with yellow one and yellow has nothing to do with green one, so we can say that they are independent. So probability of A given B or A intersection B is our required task. So since they are independent, so P of A intersection B is P of A times P of B. So 5/16 times 6/16. So it is 30/256 or 15/128. So let us consider another example. A nationwide survey found that 50% of the young people in Pakistan, they like pizza. If 3 people are selected at random, what is the probability that all 3 like pizza? So let us define the 3 events. Let A be an event that first person likes pizza. Let B be another event that second person likes pizza. Let C be the third event that the third person likes pizza. So question is, find the probability that all 3 like pizza. So it means A like pizza and B like pizza and C like pizza. So it means we want to find probability of A intersection B intersection C. So we can see that since all 3 persons A, B and C, these 3 events are independent, so it means this A intersection B intersection C, it is equal to the product of individual probabilities P of A, P of B and P of C. So since from this survey we know that 50% of the young people, they like pizza, so here first person like pizza, so it means P of A, this is 50%, which is 0.5. Similarly, second person like pizza, so P of B is also 50%, or it is 0.5. So from here P of C is also 50% or 0.5. So just replace these 3 values, calculated values here. So 0.5 into 0.5 into 0.5. So we get 0.125 or 12.5%. So there is 12.5% probability that all 3 people, they will like pizza. Let us consider another example. So if we know that probability of A is 0.5 and probability of occurrence of event B, it is 0.4, and we are also given that probability of their intersection A intersection B, it is 0.3. So question is, calculate P of A given B, and in second part check whether A and B are independent or they are the dependent events. So we know that P of A given B is P of A intersection B divided by P of B. So in order to calculate P of A given B, just use this relation. So P of A intersection B is given as 0.3 and P of B is given as 0.4. So 0.3 divided by 0.4, so we get 3 by 4, or it is 0.75 or 75%. And in next part, we are required to check whether A and B are independent events. So we know that A and B will be independent if P of A intersection B is equal to P of A times P of B. So just take the left hand side. So left hand side is P of A intersection B, which is given as 0.3, and now take right hand side. It is the product of PA and PB. So PA is 0.5, PB is 0.4. So 0.5 times 0.4, we get 0.2. So once we have left hand side and right hand side, so you can see that this left hand side it is 0.3, right hand side it is 0.2. Both are different. So left hand side is not equal to right hand side, but left hand side is P of A intersection B and right hand side is P of A times P of B. So it means this result does not hold. Our left hand side is not equal to right hand side. So this means A and B are not independent, or they are dependents. They are dependent events, or they are depending upon one another. So this is how we can check whether the events are dependent or whether they are independent. So let us review the main concepts which we have covered in today's lecture. So in today's lecture we have discussed some additional examples of probability, and then we discussed the concept of conditional probability, and then we discussed the concept of dependent and independent events, and we discussed some of the related examples which are related to these concepts. So in the next lecture we will introduce you to the concept of random variables, and we will discuss the types of random variables. The two main types of random variables are discrete random variables, and second one is the continuous random variables. And then we will also discuss the concept of distribution functions, and then we will also try to discuss the discrete probability distribution. So till then, Allah Hafiz.